ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Namaskar my dear friends, this is fourth video on Tattva of Adi Shankaracharya. This video number 4 starts with description of Karan Sharira, causal body. Karan Shariram Kim. What is the causal body? Anirvachaniye Vad Vidyarupam Sharir Dve Yasya Karan Matram Sat Savrup Jnanam Nirvikalp Karupam Yadasti Tat Karan Shariram. That which is inexplicable, beginningless, and in the form of a avidya, ignorance of the reality, the cause for the other two bodies, the subtle and the gross, ignorant of one's own real nature, self, free from duality or division, is the karna srira or the causal body. A man in deep sleep experiences a happiness or bliss ananda resulting from the absence of identification with the body and the mind. During this state, one is completely ignorant of anything, that is, one has an experience of nothing in particular. During deep sleep, one is under the influence of or identified with the causal body. During this state, one is free from the dualities created by the gross and the subtle bodies, and therefore the state is described as nirvikalpa or devoid of qualifications. The causal body is indescribable, anirvachaniya or inexplicable, because this state of ignorance is neither sat existing in all the three periods of time nor asat non-existent. The causal body is also called avidya rupam because the ignorance of which it consists is opposed to the subjective knowledge. The ignorance of the real self results in the error of one's assuming oneself to be incomplete and identifying with the gross and subtle bodies. It is therefore also responsible for or cause for the creation of the gross and the subtle bodies. Because of the ignorance, one is unaware of one's real self and is not able to experience the Sat Chit Anand Svarupa. Fourth part, Avasthatraya, the three states. After the discussion of the gross, subtle, and the causal bodies, the three states of consciousness are described. Avasthatrayam Kim. What are the three states of experience? Jagrat, Swapana, Susupta Avastha. They are the waking, the dream, and the deep sleep states. Jagrat Avastha, waking state. Jagrat Avastha ka. What is the waking state? त्रयोदिज्ञान इंद्रिय शब्दा विषयश्च ज्ञायते इति यत् सा जागृत अवस्था स्थूल शरीर अभिमानी आत्मा विश्व इत्युच्यते. The state of experience in which the sense objects, sound, etc. are perceived through the sense organs, ear, etc. is the waking state. The self identifying itself with the gross body is called Vishwa. The self identified with the gross body is in the waking state. In this state, man perceives the world of objects with the help of organs of perception and gains experiences of objects with sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. During this state, all the faculties are operating and the individual is in a complete form Visva. The subtle and causal bodies are also available for experience during the waking state. Swapana Avastha, dream state. Swapana Avastha Keti Chet Jagrat Avastham Yad Drishtam Yad Srutam Tajjani. तब वासनया निद्रा समये यह प्रपंचः प्रतीयते सा स्वप्नावस्था सूक्ष्म शरीरभिमानी आत्मा तेजस इच्यूयते इत्युच्यते. For the question, what is Swapanavastha, the dream state, the explanation is the world that is projected while in sleep from the impressions born of what has been seen or heard in the waking state is called a dream. The self identifying itself with the subtle body is called Tejasa. The dream state is that in which the self is identified with the mind subtle body. During this state, the mind projects a whole new objective world based on the impressions, vasanas it has gained while hearing, seeing, etc. In the waking state. The waker dies entirely in order that the dreamer is born. These two states cannot exist simultaneously. We cannot experience in the dream what we have not seen, heard, or thought of during the waking state. It is possible that several impressions may get mixed up to create objects or experiences during the dream, impressions that are unreal from the waker's standpoint. The self identified with the subtle body during the dream state is called Tejasa. The whole world is luminous with the thoughts alone. The objects experienced during dream do not have objective reality. सुषुप्ति अवस्था डीप स्लीप स्टेट अतः सुषुप्ति अवस्था का then what is the deep sleep state? अहम किमपि न जानामि सुखेन मया निद्रानुभूयते इति सुषुप्त अवस्था. That state about which one says later, I did not know anything, I have well enjoyed a good sleep, is the deep sleep state. Karan Srir Abhimani Atma Pragya Ityuchate. The self identifying itself with the causal body in the deep sleep state is called Prajna. Preya Ajna, that is almost ignorant. A man gains particular experience during the waking and the dream states. It is in the deep sleep state, however, there is no particular experience. The sleeper does not know anything during this state. That is to say, he is ignorant, but he is also free from the limitations of the gross and the subtle bodies, and so he is in a state of bliss ananda. The self is ignorant of this bliss as the mind is absent. The consciousness or the awareness, Atma, is however present in the state so that when the sleeper wakes up, he has memory of a happy sleep and he also regains the past memories before he went to sleep. The Atman maintains a continuity of existence and memories. During the deep sleep state, the self is identified with the causal body. During this state, it is only aware of the thought, I do not know. The self in this state is designated as prajna, meaning the one who is nearly ignorant. Because the consciousness is present during this state, the self is not totally ignorant but nearly ignorant. The three states of consciousness have thus been described. From the description, it is evident that the self is identified with one of the three bodies or at any one time, and so he is called differently during these states. However, the self is the same and ever present in each state and is therefore called the witness or sakshi. Panchakoshas. The Panchakosha or the five seats are described next. Panchakosha ki. What are the five seats? अन्न में, प्राण में, मनो में, विज्ञान में, आनंद में स्थिति. The food sheath, the vital air sheath, the mental sheath, the intellectual sheath, and the bliss sheath are the five sheaths. A kosha does not really indicate a covering because the all-pervading Atma cannot be covered by the limited gross matter. Kosha means the universal error due to identification resulting from ignorance. It appears as if Atma is covered by a sheath. First, Annamaya Kosha, food sheath. Annamaya Kosha ke. What is the food sheath? अन्न रसे नैवे भूतवा अन्न रसे नैवे वृद्धिं प्रापः अन्न रूप पृथ्वीव्याम यत् यत् विलीयते तन्मय कोशः स्थूल शरीरम. That which is born of food, which grows by food and goes back to earth, which is of the nature of food, is called the food sheath. This is the gross body. The gross body is designated as Annamaya Kosha or the food sheath. It is so called because the body is born out of the products of food eaten by the parents. It subsequently grows due to and is maintained by the modification of food, and on death disappears into the earth to eventually become food. The identification of the self with gross body creates the appearance of the food sheath. The suffix maya in Annamaya means vikara or modification. Thus, Annamaya means that which is made of the modification of food. The same meaning of the suffix maya applies to the next three kosas, prana, mana, and vijnana. Next is Pranamaya Kosha, vital air sheath. Pranamaya, what is the vital air sheath? Pranadya Panchvayav Vaga Indriya Panchakam Pranakosha. The five physiological functions such as prana, etc. Prana, Apana, Vyana, Udana, and Samana, together with the five organs of action, namely speech, etc., form the Pranamaya Kosha, the vital air sheath. The five physiological functions in the body, together with the five organs of action, are known as the Pranamaya Kosha. The identification of the self with the functions of the prana, that is, I am hungry, thirsty, etc., has the effect of causing the vital air sheath. The self mistakes himself to be the prana. The five physiological functions of prana are as follows: prana, respiration; apana, evacuation or rejection; vyana, circulation; udana, reaction, throwing out; samana, assimilation, digestion. Udana stands for the reaction from within the body, for example, vomiting, tears, etc. It becomes active at the time of death. The five organs of action are also included in the Pranamaya Kosha. Third is Manomaya Kosha, mental sheath. Manomaya Kosha ka. What is the mental sheath? मनश्च ज्ञान इंद्रिय पंचकम मिलित्वा यो भवति से मनोमय कोश. The mind and the five organs of perception together form the mental sheath. Mind is the faculty which receives stimuli from the outer world through the organs of perception. It is also the seat of emotions and feelings. The mind, together with the five organs of perception, constitute the Manomaya Kosha. The identification of the self with these functions creates the appearance of a mental sheath. For example, I am happy, unhappy, angry, etc. Fourth is Vijnanmaya Kosha, intellectual sheath. Vijnanmaya Kosha ka. What is the intellectual sheath? बुद्धि ज्ञानेन्द्रिय पंचकम मिलित्वा यो भवति से विज्ञानमय कोशः. The intellect along with the five organs of perception together form the intellectual sheath. The intellect is the deciding faculty as well as that which creates a sense of doership, ahankara. The mind and the intellect are really two aspects of the same thinking faculty. The same faculty, when feeling emotions or vacillating, is called mind. It is called intellect when it determines or decides something. The nature of the intellect is cognition as against volition of the mind. The intellect, together with the five organs of perception, forms the intellectual sheath. I am the knower, doer, etc. Fifth, Anandamaya Kosha, bliss sheath. Anandamaya ka, what is the bliss sheath? एवमेव कारण शरीर भूतादि विद्या सतल मलिन सत्वम प्रियादि वृत्ति सहितम सत्य आनंदमय कोश established in avidya, which is of the form of causal body of impure nature, united with the vrittis modifications like priya, moda and pramoda. The ignorance and the bliss experienced by a person during the deep sleep state constitute the Anandamaya Kosha. The suffix Maya is used here in the sense of saturation or preponderance rather than modification as in other sheets. One is not aware of the gross and the subtle bodies during this state, but the existence is filled with vrittis, thought modifications like Priya, Moda and Pramoda. Priya, Moda and Pramoda vrittis indicate the intensity of joy experienced by a person. Priya vritti is the joy felt at the thought of an object one like. Moda is the joy felt when the object is possessed. Pramoda is the joy of experiencing the desired object. The bliss seat is the same as the causal body. Eighth Kosh Panchakam. These are the five seats. Thus each of the five seats apparently covers Atma, which is not perceived in its true nature because of identification with the elements corresponding to these seats. It is not that the five seats are progressive, that is, one is inside the other and so on. Each of these seats independently covers the Atma depending upon whether the I is identified with the body or the mind or the intellect, etc. at any given time. The five seats designate the five common universal errors, not considering the errors that people commit because of identification with family, society, etc. Panchakosha Astita. Atma is described as Panchakosha Atita, that is, one who transcends all the five seats. It is not identified with any of them but is present in each one of them. मद इयं शरीरं मदिया प्राणः मदियं मनश्च मदिया बुद्धिर्मदियं ज्ञानमिति सवेन्यं ज्ञायते तद्यथा मदीयत्वेन ज्ञातं कटकुण्डल ग्रहादिकं सवसमाधीन् तथा पंचकोशादिकं सवसमाधीन् मदीयत्वेन ज्ञातम् आत्माने भवति. Just as bangles, earrings, houses, etc., known as mine, are all other than the knower, So to the five seats known by the self as my body, pranas, my mind, my intellect and my knowledge should all be other than the knower, and so cannot be the Atma. The knower is always different from the known, just as the personal belongings such as bangles, earrings, houses, etc. are also known by me and are therefore different from me. It is only when I identify myself with these seeds that I become limited by them. For example, if I identify myself with the house, my mobility is greatly restricted. When identify with the body, the limitations of the body are mine. Similarly, the emotions of the mind and the ignorance of the intellect. See, these are all finite, whereas the Atma is infinite. So, Atma is completely distinct and different from these seeds and all these. So, I conclude this chapter here. Next will be sixth part, Atma. So thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment and share the video. Subscribe the channel. Thank you. Namaskar, my dear friend.